Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus 1 month later, coming up right now. Let's go. What is up, guys? This is Nick here from Everything Tech, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to my 1 month later experience with the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, it's been exactly 1 month since I received this device, and I have quite a bit of things to share with you, and this is more of my experience. It's going to be a little bit more biased rather than an objective review, so I'm going to be telling you my opinions, my thoughts on it. So yeah, I got 10 of those, or maybe 11 I think here, to share with you. The first thing I want to talk about is the durability of the Samsung Galaxy S8 series of smartphones. So this phone feels very durable. The glass on the front and back do feel very durable, but I do want to mention that I do advise you to pick up a case for the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Due to the beveled edges, it does make it a little bit scary, and I've seen all over the internet, and I'm sure you have, that if you hit this on the right corner, this glass cracks really easily here for the Galaxy S8 series of smartphones. So if you do pick this device up and you know you're going to be dropping it, or you possibly might be dropping it, or you're kind of clumsy with your smartphone, you might want to go ahead and pick up a case or a skin, because this guy can easily crack due to the curved edges on the corners, side impact in the corners. It's in trouble. That's all I can say to you right there. But other than that, it feels very high quality in the hand. One of the most high quality feeling smartphones and luxurious feeling smartphones I've ever seen all time here. Probably up there, number 1 or 2 best all time in my opinion up until now. So durability has been great, but I do still recommend a case. So let's talk about that display on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus and my experience with it. So we don't need to talk too much about Super AMOLED. We know that this guy is super sharp. It's QHD display, and your text is going to be easy to read, and it's very vibrant, super colorful, and just gorgeous to the eye. We don't need to talk too much about that. I think most would agree this is probably hands down the best smartphone display on the market here in the S8 series of smartphones. But what I do want to mention is that I found it a little bit weird from time to time that, you know, when you're watching videos or something, that there would be a little distortion along the edges. Now, not distortion in a harsh way, but just due to the fact that there's an edge. If you curve it to the side, it just a little irritates my eye just a little bit over time. So that is something to be aware of, that the edge, you can see it right there, the little glare right there. It does make a reflection from time to time in that display. So it kind of takes your, eye off the content, and sometimes you see up there, if you're a detailed kind of person, if you don't pay attention to little things like that, it's not going to bother you at all. But I did want to mention that. And Samsung has done a great job with the display with not having accidental presses. So I haven't had any accidental presses in my last month using this phone from the edges. So don't worry about that if you're picking up a Galaxy S8 Plus or an S8 smartphone. Alright guys, so after 1 month using the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, the software experience out of the box was different. I mean, I do have a Tizen theme on here, and I know someone's going to ask, Nick, where did you get that theme at? Let me go and show you that really quickly to get this out of the way, because I know someone's going to ask that. This is actually the Tizen OS theme. Let me find it here really quickly, and you should see it in just a second if I can get down there. Having trouble locating this. Let me see. Tizen UI right there by Felipe Leite. So this is the theme I'm using here. Remember, one more time, Tizen UI by Felipe Leite. So that's the theme I'm using here for the Galaxy S8 Plus. But, the software is a little bit different. I do like the new settings menu in Android Nougat. It's much more easily laid out rather than a side-to-side swipe here for the Galaxy S8 Plus. And overall, the software has been a very nice, clean, polished version of Android with Samsung's TouchWiz. I think Samsung's TouchWiz is no longer an issue for most people. Yeah, it's still not the fastest on the block, but it offers every feature in the kitchen sink without being slow anymore. It's not really a slow OS anymore. It could easily keep up with most of your iPhones here on TouchWiz experience here, so 8.0. So definitely really do enjoy the software here for the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. And what I've really been liking is the Edge panel. It's very useful. Every day I use this thing when I'm using the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. And in my past month, like I say, software, just everything you could think of here in terms of features. It's probably not the best in multitasking here for the Galaxy S8 Plus, but it's really just a good smartphone here overall. fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy the software I have over the past month. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the performance section of this device. I showed you a video on how to activate beast mode on the GS8, and this device is a monster in performance. It's really quick, one of the fastest gaming performing Android devices I have ever seen. Now, yeah, from time to time, it isn't the best in multitasking, but hey, it's still a really fast phone, and definitely my second fastest phone next to my iPhone 7 Plus, which is the fastest phone I've ever used. This is definitely the second fastest phone I've ever used. So definitely a really quick phone, and for everyone who's using this day to day, most people are not going to have any issues whatsoever unless you're doing video editing and rendering. Then if you're going to be rendering video on your phone, the iPhone 7 Plus is the way to go here. It's just like the PC and the Mac. The Mac renders video quicker for the most part if you got the right Mac and you got Final Cut Pro. Hardware optimization for software on Apple is pretty good here, and I know some people don't like me talking about Apple, but this is my experience, and this is the experience, you know, that I've had the faster experience on. This phone actually feels a little bit quicker than the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus as well, the LG G6, but that's not to say that the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus is slow. It's been very fast, and it's very, very unnoticeable unless you have an eye for detail like I do. That's why I share it with you here. Performance is great. I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10. So in this section, I want to talk a little bit about the handling of the Galaxy S8 Plus, and I do want to reference the 7 Plus once again, just due to the fact of, you know, the width comparison. So this is not a 7 Plus versus Galaxy S8 Plus video. I do have that video, but I just want to show you the difference in design where Samsung has come with this new design. They have really shaved a lot of width off this phone, and it's about the same height while having a 0.7-inch larger screen. So this is a compact phone for being a plus size phone here. This is more like a 5.5-inch size phone, whereas the Galaxy S8 is more like a 5-inch sized phone. But remember, because the aspect ratio has changed for your device, meaning that the display is not wider anymore, it's just taller, the content shows more going down, but going across it does feel a little bit, you know, less wide. So I do find it to be an even trade-off. I rather go for this just because, you know, it's thinner, it's lighter, and it gives you similar screen real estate at a larger size on the spec sheet. And handling this phone, I wish I would have went with the smaller S8, honestly, because this one, you know, the smaller S8 has a 5.8-inch display and it's smaller. And this is kind of overkill, I think, on the Galaxy S8 Plus. I kind of did wish I went with the smaller S8, but it's okay. It's still a great size, and it's very easy to handle this. I do think people are still going to get some hand fatigue using this phone very long, so it's not the lightest phone in the world. It's pretty light, but it's not the lightest phone in the world. It's still got some weight to it. So Galaxy S8 Plus handling, very easy to handle this phone, but for smaller hands, it's still going to be a reach unless you go with the smaller Galaxy S8. Talking about the camera, my experience 1 month later with the camera, once again, I'm not going to go too in depth. I do have a Galaxy S8 Plus versus LG G6 versus iPhone 7 Plus camera comparison. And this camera has been nothing short of impressive, especially in low light. This camera kills it in low light, and it pretty much kills it in the daytime too. Focusing is blazing fast on this camera, and it does look better than the Galaxy S7. I haven't done a comparison between those two yet. Let me know if you want to see Galaxy S8 versus S7 camera showdown. I might consider doing that one, but the Galaxy S8 Plus is the camera I'm going for when I don't want to do no post-processing. I don't want to zoom too far. I just want to pull out my phone and have the most pleasing picture to the eye. I'm picking up the Galaxy S8 10 times out of 10. So this is a really good smartphone camera. And besides all the specs, the 12 megapixels, the OIS, if you don't know anything about tech, just know that you get a very stable camera here in video. You get a very fast focusing camera here, meaning that when you tap to focus, it locks on a dime, and when you snap it, it's fast. It's got burst modes. And for those of you who are the type that really want to get customizable, you really want to get into your settings here, you have everything in the kitchen sink here to take pictures. You can also go like this, flip it over to go to the selfie, and if you go this way, like I say, all these features, plus you can download more from the Samsung store. So pretty much goes along with the UI TouchWiz having all these extra features. You do get it in the Samsung Camera App Store or in the Samsung App Store. Now, one thing I do want to note is that because there's no home button here anymore, if you do want to go into the camera double click quick launch, you have to double click the power button now to get in there. So it's not quite as easy, I think, as the home button was, but it's still there, and I'm happy to see that it made its return, the quick launch feature. So I want to wrap this video up here by talking about some of my main points and things that I've experienced that, you know, are something I think that you got to take into account when you're going to buy a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. And that is that this is probably the best device for media consumption. I know it doesn't have front-facing speakers, but it does give you the headphone jack, which sounds damn good if you go ahead and plug some headphones in there or some Beats or something like that. They also have equalizer settings in the settings menu where you can go ahead and fine-tune the sound to your liking. And they did make improvements there, even though this is IP68 water resistance. To me, since we're mentioning IP68, it hasn't been a big deal. I'm never dropping water on my phone, hardly ever, so I don't even notice that's there, but it's there if you guys want peace of mind from dropping your phone in water. I don't have the AKG headphones on me. I don't know where I threw them. I lost them, I think, but I do want to say that when I was using them, they are very, very good for being headphones in the box. Definitely sound much punchier than what I've seen in the Apple earbuds, and that's not because I'm working for Samsung or anything like that. This is my own experience. The Apple headphones look good, they fit good, but the quality of them, no. Now, these AKG headphones, you know, give or take, they might not be as comfortable to some people's ears, but they do sound pretty good here. I also want to mention that on top of this being the best media consumption device for watching videos and stuff like that, I think this also is one of the best devices for, you know, mobile payments. Samsung Pay offers reward systems in their, you know, Samsung Pay application. So if you do decide to use Samsung Pay, you can get rewards, they got promotions going on, and you can do gift cards and stuff like this. And this just makes it even more worthwhile to use the Samsung Pay system, whereas Apple doesn't really give you anything like this right now. So Samsung Pay is really killing it, and it's got a better technology in terms of paying for stuff. It works pretty much everywhere in my experience. I've had no troubles using Samsung Pay. And I don't want to come up here, guys, and make you think that everything about the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus is all peachy and rosy. We got to remain open-minded and look at both sides of the coin before we make an informed decision as to whether this is going to be our smartphone for the next few years. And I can tell you right now, one annoyance I have had is the Bluetooth 5.0. Yes, it's the latest version of Bluetooth. I would love to have it going forward, but a lot of my devices that are Bluetooth have failed with the Galaxy S8 Plus due to the fact that they don't support this Bluetooth standard. So the Galaxy S8 Plus in the Bluetooth department is ahead of its time. The fingerprint scanner is not the most conveniently located places. I know this is kind of overblown, actually. It's a little bit annoying how much people talk about it. If you do know where the fingerprint scanner is, you will train yourself to remember where to put your finger. But if you do miss it from time to time, it does become annoying because you do wipe the camera lens. And Samsung even says to wipe your camera lens in the software. Kind of funny, they knew that was going to happen. So they're not oblivious to the fact that that was going to happen. Another thing that annoys me a little bit about the Galaxy S8 Plus is it kind of just scratched up here for no apparent reason. I got a little scratch up there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but for no apparent reason, just putting it in my bag and stuff, it's just scratched. So if you guys are a little bit reckless with your devices and stuff, just expect these edges and borders to scratch up a little bit. Having a little bit of focusing issues, but just expect these to scratch up a little bit. They will scratch up a bit. I am over it already, but I'm just going to let you guys know that. And I cannot find too many other annoyances about this phone. It's pretty much stellar besides those couple of things. Like I say, the edges can be, you know, pick and choose. Either you like it or you don't, but it can be annoying with the distortion sometimes, meaning that you can see the color refraction on the edges. But other than that, it's just been a phenomenal smartphone. One thing I can say is that if you're texting down here, it is quite a reach to get up here, so you might want to utilize the one-handed mode here on the Galaxy S8 Plus specifically if you do decide to pick this device up. But that's going to wrap it up for me 1 month later on a scale of 1 to 10, on a score of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. I'm giving this phone a solid 9.5, and I'm going to take off 0.5 points for those minor annoyances. This is almost a perfect perfect smartphone, guys, and you will not regret buying a Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus if you do like the Android operating system. Anyway, this was Nick here sharing my 1 month experience with the Galaxy S8 Plus. If you guys enjoyed 1 month type videos, share your feedback down below. Would you like to see this type of content going forward on other devices 1 month later, 3 months later, a year later, stuff like that? And click the like button for me if you enjoyed this video. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.